Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing these knotless boho braids. They turned out so good. I am obsessed. I cannot wait to share the deets. But yeah, it's going to be like a little tutorial slash hair details, and I'm going to show you guys also how to dip the hair. Let's get into the video. So first things first, let's talk sectioning. I like to start by parting the hair into large sections and then dividing them into smaller squares. So in these clips, I'm just showing you what each row should look like. Feel free to pause if you're, following along and you're actually braiding while you're watching this video. Also, the amount of squares that you have in each row may vary based on your head size. So you might not have, exactly the amount that I have in each of my rows, but that's okay. And remember, clean parts are the foundation of neat braids. So take your time with this step. I like to use a rat tail comb with the metal end, and I love me a good 3-way mirror from Amazon, and I should have one linked in my Amazon storefront, so check that out if you're really trying to get your parts to the next level. Now moving on to products, I'm using the Neat Braid Conditioning Shine and Gel. I love braiding with this stuff because it's not as greasy as Shine and Jam, and it passed my test on the Yuka app. If you know, you know. This is a leave-in conditioner and oil that I used on my hair after I shampooed, and then this will be the mousse that we finish off the final look with, and the girlies were not wrong about this mousse. Now let's get into the braiding process. So starting off by taking one of our small sections that we've already pre-braided, you're going to grab about a pea-sized amount of braiding jam, and we're going to apply that to about 1/4 of an inch out from the root. Next, we're going to divide the sections into 3 equal strands. Hold 2 strands in one hand and 3 in the other. Then we're going to begin a normal braid by crossing the left strand over the middle and the right strand over the new middle strand. And you'll notice that you're starting to form the base of your braid. Now once you've done that twice, we are ready to start feeding in the braiding hair. So now we're going to take our first piece of braiding hair. So taking our small piece of braiding hair, we're going to loop it around our index finger and add it to the 2 outer strands of our natural hair as we braid. Make sure to add the hair close to the root so that the braid sits flat, but don't pull too tightly. This helps avoid tension on the scalp. And now we're just going to continue braiding by repeating the same steps that we just did. So crossing the left strand over the middle, then the right strand over the middle, and adding small pieces of braiding hair as we go. Now I kept the same consistency throughout this entire braiding process. I just did 2 pieces of braiding hair and 3 pieces of human hair so that every braid is the same and uniform, and I just think it makes the final look way neater. Now we're going to add our human hair pieces in. So we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to loop this around our finger and add it in between our 2 pieces of braids. Now some people like to take the longer piece of the human hair out right away, but for me, I like to braid it down just a couple times just so that it's secure, because I have done that in the past, and girl, the human hair slipped out on the floor in public. Don't play with me. Like, are you kidding me? That is so embarrassing. But anyway, moving on, as you braid further down, ensure your hands stay close to the braid to keep it neat, and smooth out any flyaways at this point. Use a little braiding jam if necessary. I like to use braiding jam just to make sure like those shorter pieces of the braiding hair or the shorter pieces of the human hair are really locked in. Of course, you're going to have some flyaways, but you can always cut those at the end, of course making sure that we're not cutting our natural hair. Once you've reached the end of your natural hair, continue braiding the remaining length and adding in that human hair. Like I said, I added in 3 pieces, so 1 at the top, 1 in the middle, and the ending piece. Side note, look at my face because I was never that concentrated. So now we have reached the end. We are going to add in our last piece of curly hair. We're going to continue braiding the remaining hair, and if the braid starts to feel uneven, gently pull on any thicker area to balance it out. I like to really do this to lock in that braid so that it doesn't become unraveled. I feel like doing this and with dipping it, it just locks the hair in place, and when you're finished braiding, you can just leave the end loose because we're going to be dipping it in just a few minutes. Now we're going to cut off any of those flyaways that were left over from the short pieces of braiding hair and human hair. Again, this is not your natural hair. When you're all finished, we're going to leave it loose because we will be dipping the hair later. And there you have it. Practice makes perfect, so don't worry if it doesn't look flawless at first. So now we're going to be moving on to the details on what type of hair I use. The human hair that I use is from Y Wigs, and it's the 22-inch body waves. I end up using about 1.5 bundles for my entire head. And for the actual braiding hair, I used Rua hair in the shade 1B, 24-inch. Now this is my braiding setup. I love using a braiding rack. If you don't have one in 2025, you need to get one, okay? Because it cuts down on time and it just keeps the hair nice and organized. Now also, if you notice on the braiding rack, I have the human hair separated on the right side, and then if you look at the braiding hair, you can see the thinner pieces on the left side and the thicker pieces on the right side. Those center pieces are for my edges, and I just like to divide it up that way. Now moving on to how to dip the hair. This part is so important, so please listen up, because there are too many people out there that are saying the human hair is so tangly. No, you just don't know what you're doing and how to maintain it properly. So I'm going to show you. So first you're going to start off by separating every single piece of human hair that you added to your hair. You're going to then take that and twist it, and it's going to be its own section. And then you are going to take the braiding hair and we're going to twist that into its own sections. So on each side you should have 4 parts, totaling 8 altogether. Now once we've got everything separated, now it is time to dip the hair. Now this is where it might get a little confusing, but I'm going to try to explain it as best as I can. When I'm dipping the hair, I only want to dip the synthetic hair. I don't want my natural hair being boiled, and I don't want the human hair to be boiled. So I'm only dipping about 3 to 4 inches of the actual braids, and then for the human hair we are going to do that separately, just so that we're not compromising like the curl of the human hair with the boiling water. Now the top half of your hair may be a little stiff for about 2 days, but don't worry, it will loosen up, especially because we're going to put oil on our scalp, and that oil is going to seep through the braids and break up that product. Now for the human hair, this is a little trick that I like to do because I can't do the stiff human hair. So I like to rinse the braids under warm water, and if you want to get a little fancy, I like to shampoo and condition them, just because we can't use a boiling water to break up that braiding jam. So this just really refreshes the human hair. So once you've done that, you're going to dry the hair, and once I get it nice and dry, I grab a brush and I just start detangling that human hair. After we've detangled, I like to go in with a small amount of leave-in, and then I just like to scrunch the hair with my hands, and this is just going to bring the natural curl back. And for day-to-day maintenance, just add some water, scrunch it, and you're good to go. Now we're going to go ahead and finish off with some mousse. I'm going to be using the one that I showed you guys in the beginning of the video. And here is the final look for these Boho Knotless Braids. These turned out absolutely gorgeous, and they are surprisingly so lightweight. I think next I'm going to try these in brown. This style is perfect for any occasion, whether you're dressing up or keeping it casual. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this tutorial gave you all the tips and confidence that you need to try these Boho Knotless braids, and I really hope that in my videos help you guys learn how to braid, because it's just such a good skill to have, and you're saving so much money. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment below with any questions or styles that you'd like to see next. Until next time, stay beautiful and stay blessed. Love you guys. Bye.